My name is Neumann, and today I'd like to talk about the heart, the lungs, and the bloodstream, and how these three things work together to give us a normal functioning heart. Now, what does the heart do? Now, most of us have a very simplified version of what we think the heart does. We know that it moves blood in and out, and that it has something to do with our bloodstream and why we have blood throughout our body. And we know that it does it a lot, every day, all day, which is all true. However, the heart is so much more than that. It's the very pinnacle of our bloodstream. It's the reason why we're able to have oxygen-rich blood to our brain, to all of our organs, to our fingertips, down to our toes. Now, before we get a little deeper into this, I'd like to give you a little bit of a fun fact, just to think about. Now, a healthy adult has around 70 beats per minute. That's 4,200 beats per hour and over 100,000 beats per day. That's a lot. It's a lot of work, and I think that's why it's so important to understand what is happening during all those little beats. Now, to understand how your heart works, you need to have a better understanding of the structures and the functions that surround your heart. Now, according to My Health Alberta, which is an online health portal from the Government of Alberta, Canada, the heart is broken up into two sections. You have your left side and your right side. And these two sides have two chambers. You have your right atrium and your right ventricle, and your left atrium and your left ventricle. Now, the ventricles are larger chambers than the atrium because they're where the heart leaves and enters the body. Now, all of this is possible, all the pumping and the beats, all possible because of two things. You have your myocardium, which is the muscle that surrounds the heart and enables it to contract and to relax, filling and emptying the heart each time. Now, one of the most important parts of the heart is the electrical system. Without this, it wouldn't be such a seamless process. The electrical system gives us your normal sinus rhythm, the beat we all know, the lines that are drawn to most people just look like squiggly marks. They're the whole reason why our heart is able to seamlessly do this every second, every day. Now that we understand a little bit more of the structures of the heart, I'd like to talk about what actually happens when the blood enters the heart. Now, according to WebMD, the blood enters the heart via the right atrium. And I have a chart to kind of give you a better understanding of what this looks like. So in here we can see that the blood is entering the heart via the right atrium, down to the right ventricle, and then out through the pulmonary artery. This is where the blood leaves the heart and enters into the lungs. From there, it comes back into the heart, into the left atrium, down to the left ventricle, and then out again via the aorta, back into the bloodstream. Now, so as we said, the blood enters the heart via the right atrium, down into the right ventricle, and then out via the pulmonary artery. Now, I think it's important to note what's happening while the blood is in the lungs, because it's one of the most crucial steps in this process to filling the blood with oxygen-rich nutrients. So, according to the British Lung Foundation, which is a charity nonprofit that talks about heart, lungs health, and lung disease, and how to keep your lungs healthy in general. Now, according to them, while in the lungs, when you breathe in, you're filling your lungs or sacs in your lungs full of air. Now, this oxygen-rich air is able to leave these sacs via capillaries, which are like very, very small veins, similar to that which would be in your face. They leave these sacs via a protein called hemoglobin, which is carried in your red blood cells. So it leaves the sacs into the bloodstream. This is when the blood is able to leave the lungs and go back into the heart, entering the left side. It enters the left atrium and then into the left ventricle and then out through the body again through the aorta. This is when it is able to distribute that oxygen-rich nutrients to the rest of the body. Now I have a chart to kind of give you a better understanding of what it looks like when the blood is in the lungs. So here we can see the oxygen sacs right there, and the red represents our bloodstream. So the blood comes into the lungs, we have the air, the O2, the oxygen, leaving back into the bloodstream, and then the blood is able to circulate back through into the heart. Now that we're back into the heart, according to WebMD, the blood leaves that left side, as I mentioned, through the aorta. Now, to conclude this, I'd like to talk about why this is so important. Now, we know that we can survive weeks without food, minutes without air, days without water, but the second that your heart stops, your body starts to shut down, which is why I think it's so important that we understand how this happens, why this happens, and in return are able to focus on keeping our heart healthy and our lungs healthy, so that in the future we can have a healthy heart and not have any problems that come along with that. So thank you. I hope this gives you a better understanding of our heart and how this process works. Thank you.